Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and before we begin, we want to remind you again that for more of the best content from Israel, sign up today for our streaming platform, ILTV+. Now, coming up in today's newscast, United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi touring Jerusalem as Israel sending a team to Vienna in last-ditch efforts to influence the nuclear talks. Meantime, Turkey-Israel ties continuing to thaw, but what does that mean for Ankara's tacit support for terror? And finally, from the pandemic to Pegasus spyware and more, Knesset member and former Deputy Health Minister Yoav Kish joining us live. All right, now to begin, United States Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi in Israel this week, saying that Israel's very establishment is the greatest accomplishment of the 20th century. And this as Pelosi starting her special trip, including a visit to the Knesset, together with her Israeli counterpart, Yesh Atid MK, and Knesset Speaker Miki Levy. But in addition to reaffirming D.C.'s commitments to both Israel as well as a two-state solution, Pelosi also taking the time to praise Jerusalem for its continuing alliance with Washington against the threat from Iran. Of course, while in principle Israel and the United States agree on confronting Tehran's malign activities, in practice, the two are still differing greatly on what particular actions should be taken. So as the JCPOA nuclear talks nearing their conclusion in Vienna, Israel sending for the very first time a delegation, and as part of final efforts to voice and address Jerusalem's concerns, the diplomats meeting with reps from all of the P5+1 signatories except for Iran. Israel arguing that any agreement would fall short of what's necessary to curb Tehran's nuclear and military ambitions, and Iranian negotiators essentially saying as much on their own, adding now that, quote, the Zionist presence is just an undoubted deterrent to progress.
ما برای رسیدن به یک توافق خوب عجله داریم، اما در چارچوب مذاکراتی منطقی و دستیابی به حقوق و منافع ملتمون.
Now, in other news, a brand new political poll released in Israel, and it seems that the Likud party, under former Prime Minister Netanyahu, is still winning out as the largest force in Knesset. Joining me with more live from the Knesset is Likud party Knesset member and former Deputy Health Minister Yoav Kish. Knesset member, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. Now, according to the new poll, Likud is earning about 36 seats, Yesh Atid coming in second place with 17, and then the totals from coalition to opposition coming about 53 for the coalition, 60 seats for the opposition, 7 under the joint Arab list remaining independent. What do you make of these results?
It is very simple. We see that the opposition today is 50% of the people, and we see that the party of Prime Minister Bennett is almost finished, as well as the party of the Gidon Saar, Tikva Hadasha, which is not even above the minimum percentage of to become a party. So we see that the people of Israel support the opposition. The people of Israel see that this government is very bad for the future of Israel, and they are actually voting against it. Unfortunately, we don't have elections today, and the Knesset is still on its own structure, but there is no public support for this corrupt and failure government.
Well, so Knesset member, with all due respect, don't you take these results with a pinch of salt, because polls aren't exactly the most exact?
Well, you see, we are in the opposition, we are 53, we're growing to 60. The government today is 61, they are dropping for 53. So it's, of course, a process of a huge change in public opinion. I think they see the failure of this government in the corona treatment, in the economic issues, in the international and political issues, and I think that they are losing the public support. We see it very clearly on the last results of the polls.
So would you and the Likud or other members of the opposition, would you be willing to call for a vote of no confidence based on these results? Are you that confident in this poll?
the way it worked.
To watch full episodes of ILTV's Israel Daily and tons of other content from Israel, visit our website at iltv.tv or download the ILTV Plus app.